Indiana ranks second to worst in the country for the number of sexual assaults among high school-aged girls. Nearly 1 in 5 9 to 12th grade girls in Indiana is raped before she graduates. It's a story we first brought you in February in our documentary Shadows of Innocence: Sexual Assault Among Indiana's Youth. The documentary and the study that inspired it was a wake-up call to many people. And as Sarah Whitmire reports, the issue is now getting the attention of Indiana lawmakers.
For 8 years, this Indiana teen was assaulted by her brothers.
I kind of felt like it was wrong, but I wasn't really sure.
Through all the years of being raped, she never told anyone. She worried people in her family would get angry.
I more of just closed my eyes and waited for it to get over.
Her mother caught her brothers one day while they were assaulting her, and that's how it finally stopped. For many reasons, it can take years for sexual assault victims to come forward. And in Indiana, only 15% of sexual assaults, attempted rapes, and rapes are ever reported to the legal authorities.
They feel ashamed about it. They don't feel it's easy to talk to anyone about. They feel like people won't believe them. They usually don't go to the police. It's more true for women, by the way. Women are more likely to blame themselves. If they were to blame, did they not say no early enough? Did they not say no hard enough, strongly enough? Did they not struggle strong enough? All these questions. So there's a whole bunch of self-doubts just around the victim.
All those questions were going through Malia Crosby's head after a high school friend raped her 2 months before her 17th birthday.
It was such an incredibly painful and scary experience that I just left. That was the only option I think that at that time that my body had. Maybe my mind had to just retreat from it. And then I've kind of now realizing that the last 16 years I've kind of been really disconnected. And things happen around me and I don't remember certain periods of time. I feel numb a lot of the time, just don't really feel anything.
Go on the pill.
Malia was among those who testified this week at the State House when Representative Christina Hale proposed a measure encouraging a deeper look into why sex crimes and even crimes of domestic violence aren't reported. Hale called the problem of sexual assault the most urgent issue the state is facing.
We have 17.3% of girls in Indiana who have been raped or sexually assaulted by the time they're in high school. That said, we don't know why. We don't know if this is a problem with families, if it's a problem in school. Is it a rural problem? Is it an urban problem? We don't know where it's happening or why it's happening. And we can't do something about it. We can't create the right programs, policies, and laws unless we find out why this is happening.
This kind of legislative action was one of the goals of the policy brief that inspired our documentary. The study by researchers at Indiana University's Kinsey Institute and the Center for Evaluation in Education Policy urged lawmakers to work with stakeholders to assess the status of sexual violence across the state, to gather accurate data indicating the scope of the problem that could be used to inform policy decisions. The study highlighted states that had good sexual violence prevention policies on the books. And while noting that policies are only part of the solution, the report's authors encouraged leaders in Indiana to learn from these other states.
I think the interesting thing in these other model states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Texas, is that it wasn't one policy lever that they tried to pull. It was really them sitting down, looking across all of their existing laws and policies and regulations, and really coming up with a comprehensive approach to see if they're actually solving this problem.
So the measure proposed this week can be considered a first step. Hale says she hopes the committee's work will result in policy, programming, and law that will better protect children from sexual crimes.
This is one step in a larger solution, precisely because there are a lot of people that are going to have to be engaged to solve this problem. We can only go up from here, and I'm feeling very confident and very positive that we can do something positive for our young girls.
Sarah Whitmire, who reported on the story and produced the Shadows of Innocence documentary, joins us for more. Boy, every time I see, we've done a lot with this, and every time I see and hear these stories, it's hard to hear.
It is. The numbers are really startling, and the thing is, Indiana's rate is nearly double the national average.
17.3% of high school age girls are raped before they graduate.
Yeah, and the national rate is about 10.5%, so we're much higher. And what we know is that's really underreported. That was a lot of the reason that there was this meeting at the State House this week, as people sat down and they realized, okay, well, we have these numbers from the CDC that say nearly 1 in 5 high school age girls in Indiana will be raped before she graduates. And then we have these other numbers that say fewer than half of all rapes are reported. So given that, what are the actual numbers? Are they double? Are they triple? Advocates are saying we know they're much higher than what we think they are.
Now, you talked about the first step was the State House. Now what?
Yeah, so yesterday, Representative Hale made her pitch to lawmakers at the State House, and the committee chairman said he wanted an official proposal by the end of November. So by November 30th, he wanted an official proposal, and then they meet one more time this year in December. So he said at their December meeting, then they'll consider her proposal.
Any ideas of what will be in that specifically in that proposal?
I mean, that's a really good question, because Christina Hale would love to just pass something now. She's found these numbers about sexual assault in part from our documentary, and she wanted to do something immediately. But then she realized that would never pass. That's never going to go anywhere, because where's the evidence behind that? We've got to have some numbers that really document this problem in Indiana. Is it, like she said, a rural problem? Is it an urban problem? How do we know? So that then how can we measure success? And it was something that the committee chairperson was actually pushing back with her a bit and saying, I don't quite understand what you're asking of us. So really what she's getting at in this first step is she just wants to do a study. At the panel yesterday, there were some researchers there who could speak to what they might be looking for in a study.
But then I assume there'll be some funding issues too. Where will the money come from?
Where would the money come from, and how much would it cost? That was something Representative Pierce was asking about, because there are so many different ways. They could hire an outside agency, they could have a state agency do it, which would be cheaper. Right now, Indiana doesn't allocate any money for young victims of sexual abuse except for like immediate crisis services. But other than that, there's nothing. So they would have to come up with the money. And that's something we went and talked to the Monroe County prosecutor, Chris Gall, because his office does a lot for sexual assault prevention efforts. Arguably, they do more than anyone in the state. And he said that's such an important piece of this, that whatever the state decides, there has to be funding attached to it.
And we have a clip of Chris Gall.
We do.
Well, I think it's important that we look at prevention and education, that we study the problem, get a handle on it. The numbers for Indiana are pretty disturbing, as Shadows of Innocence pointed out. We have the second highest teen rape statistics in the country, and that's alarming. So it's important to study the problem. It's also important to put resources behind addressing that problem. We really need the legislature, in addition to thinking about policies and prevention and education, to also be thinking about how we can fund specialization in the response, so that when those unreported cases come forward, those victims report, that our response is up to the challenge that creates.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sarah. And of course, we talked about the documentary. That was back in February, but of course, you can see that on our website and find more at indianapublicmedia.org/shadows.
Thanks.